Hey, what is going on, everybody? So today we have a very special video, and that is because it is the inauguration of my very first Boilon specific tier list infographic that I'll be revealing. Now, this was done in collaboration with OCJ421, who was very helpful in designing the look of this infographic, so my heartfelt thanks goes out to him for this, and hopefully we can continue doing this for each patch. Previously, I was using TierMaker as a way to do my tier lists, but this was a bit messy sometimes to use and was looking for a smoother way to do something like this. Now, this isn't the first tier list video I have done, obviously, if you've been following my channel, but just a new layout, and I will provide the infographic in the description below if you are interested in a copy to share with your alliance or community, or just want to keep it for yourself as a reference. So with that all out of the way, without further ado, let's get this tier list started. Alright, and so here we are with the patch 5.2 Boilon tier list. Now, I do know that I am a little bit in the way of my own tier list, specifically on the B tier here. I'm not actually missing any characters. I'll just kind of like remove my webcam just so you can see the full the full infographic here, but like I said, I will make this available in the description below anyways, so if you want to look at it there. So first off, for those of you who may be new to my tier list and my letter grading system, I want to quickly go over what this all means. So I think the S and A plus are quite self-explanatory, but the reason why I have A plus is because there are those characters who I think are very good, but I wanted to separate them out from the S and also from the A. Frankly, anything above B and above, anything a B and above are characters that I personally think are worth your resources for one reason or another, but it's the A and above that really stand out, and those are some of the best that exist in this game right now, and typically have quite a lot of standalone value and are valid across most, if not all, of the game modes, with an exception being Ghost for me, because I think her value in Dark Dimension far outweighs where she might be involved in, say, Arena, which doesn't really happen. Outside of this, the C rank is for all of those what I call supporting cast characters for most teams, but ones you kind of have to bring up to a reasonable degree to have the team function. These are the Dominos of X-Force, the Heimdalls of Asgardians, the Ironheart of Power Armor, and so on. These are the ones that I would bring up, but not more than the main members of the team, who are typically B or above in the ranking. And finally, we do have the D and the E categories. This kind of explains itself when you look at who's in it, but D is frankly not worth your time, except for Flash event characters. Black Panther is in here, and a few others as well for events, but really do not level these more than you need to. And E is the literal worst of the worst, and I feel bad for Yondu because he really used to be meta when the game first came out. But yeah, I'm not sure if I'll be explaining this every patch here, but I just wanted to do it in this video due to the new layout. So let's get started on tier list adjustments for this patch. Alright, and starting off with the adjustments, we're going to be talking about White Tiger. So she was actually moved from B, oh, there we are, from B to A. I think now that we've had some more time to play around with Shadowlands, she's proven herself to be a very strong character for this team, and more than deserves the bump from B. Especially, you know, if I was willing to put Moon Knight in A, then she really deserves to be up there as well, since she's just as important for the team, maybe even a bit more, given how much crazy damage she outputs. The Shadowland team is probably one of the best war offense teams out there, and especially for Marauders counters, they make short work of them. Definitely a team I really enjoy using. And in that same vein, we have to talk about Night Nurse. She also got the bump up to the A here, and let's zoom in a little bit. I can move this over here so you can see a little bit better here. You know, honestly, I've been having a lot of fun with Night Nurse, both with the Shadowlands team and in my use for her in Dark Dimension for City. Now, in terms of Dark Dimension, yeah, I get it, she's not a symbiote, but as far as non-symbiotes go, I think she's pretty awesome, and her rework was really good. I just never really fully realized how much I enjoyed this rework until actually after using her and putting in some T4s. So for this reason, I have bumped her up to the A category because I really think she's just as important in her team, but does have quite a bit of a strong use outside of it. And if you're ramping up for the Doom Raid, which will have the new blue ISOs in there, then you're going to want to build her for that skill lane too. So in terms of demotions now, Strife originally was an A rank, but he did recently get bumped down to a B rank over here. The downgrade comes as a direct result as of a lot of the more recent war offense teams coming to the game, starting kind of with Dad Bros. But then with the filling out of X Factor and Shadowlands, there are way more counters to this team than there were before. That being said, Strife is nowhere near a bad tank at all, which is why he's still in the B category and worth gearing. Just I think his merit outside of his team is not as good as I once thought for Dark Dimension Global. And, that being said, he's still the Marauders tank, so if you're building this team, you're going to want to build him as well anyways. Next, a bit of a surprise here is She-Hulk, who's next to Strife here, got a bump up from the C category to the B. Now, this is a bit of an interesting promotion for me for She-Hulk. Honestly, now that she's farmable in the Blitz store, this kind of gives her a little bit more of a nod because she just frankly came out at a really bad time amongst other biosymbiotes back in October, I think it was. Now that we've had a little bit of a bio reprieve and some reimaginings of the Fantastic Four team alongside Silver Surfer potentially, and I think She-Hulk is going to be built up a little bit more by others for the war defense. That being said, she's not a bad character. Her kit is actually pretty decent. She just got well overshadowed in her patch release. This might be something I might look into with some sort of hybrid She-Hulk, Silver Surfer, Doom, Invisible Woman combo of some degree in the future. We'll see. And now there are some quick other demotions that I want to mention that are probably long past due, but I'm going to mention them anyways. So Human Torch, first off, where did I put him? He's over here. He got a demotion from B to C. Most of the reason I had him in B in the first place was because of his strong burst damage and speed. Frankly, he's such a glass cannon, he really struggles to stay alive in most fights, including with the Fantastic Four. He's always the first one to die for me, even over Mr. Fantastic. That being said, we know the C rank is for these kind of supporting cast members anyways, so he's going to go here. Now, next on the list is Star-Lord. He got bumped down to C. Where did I put him? Over here. Unfortunately, Mr. Spaceman is getting a demotion. I'll be honest, I can't personally recommend anyone building Guardians of the Galaxy anymore, and have been saying this for some time. They just really aren't good in the game currently, and the fact he's not even permanent, like Nick Fury and Shuri is now, kind of really sucks. Not that I would recommend him any further, even if he was. Feel free to fight me on this one. I think he's long past expired. And in the same vein, Nick Fury was also bumped down to C. Where did I place him? Over here. Also getting the C rank demotion. He recently had his permanent event status, which is great, but unfortunately, he's not really all that needed anymore. I know I personally have a tier 13 Nick Fury when I used him in Dark Dimension 2 way back in the day, but now there just really isn't many places to use him, and definitely none that you have to have him. He is usable in some Doom War nodes, but he is replaceable. For sure, Shield and Shield minions particularly are well past expired as well. So another one I do want to mention is Yo-Yo. I moved her from the A to a B. She's somewhere. She's here. Out of all of the characters in the A or above category, Yo-Yo was a standout of someone I just really didn't use anymore, much aside from, alongside Black Bolt for war offense. Now, this coupled with the fact she's still a premium character in the premium orb at 2% means most people will struggle to get her to any meaningful star level. And her compatriot in the 2% orbs being Cull Obsidian, who is still more widely applicable than herself in my opinion. So, unfortunately, she is getting a demotion this time around. She really needs to be farmable, though. They need to take her out of that 2% premium orb. We need to get her up higher star levels, and I don't know, maybe I can have a better opinion of her, but this tier list is not a Kraken tier list, so this is kind of like an average person's tier list in mind, so I do want to keep things into consideration like farmability and, how frequently you might actually be able to use her at an average star level. Some notes about Skillitary. Now, Punisher, Yelena, and possibly Black Widow. I can see this being adjusted, but for now they'll stay where they are. I forget where I actually placed them. I think Black Widow's in the B somewhere, and then Punisher's probably in the C here. Yeah, he is. And Yelena, I think, is also in the C down here. Yep. So they're most likely going to be getting a rework for next patch with the Skillitary rework, and Black Widow might be getting a fairly hefty rework. We'll have to see. That'll probably get changed for my next tier list. I also kind of wanted to demote Sabretooth to D, but he is staying strong can see, he's really not that great. I feel really terrible that I had to G15 him, but, you know, he is the most replaceable member of the Marauders, so don't gear him if you can help it. This is the most sort of transitional spot for hybrid positions on the Marauders team if you want to do that. So now we're getting to the characters of this patch 5.2, and obviously the first thing I have to talk about, and I had to zoom out for this, is Silver Surfer. So you might have noticed he is here in the S tier. This is a pretty obvious placement. One of the strongest characters to come to the game in recent times, but unfortunately it's not even a word, very heavily gated by dollars. Dollar, silver dollar, you know, the SS. This is what the joke has been. Currently, it is possible to get him to a total of, I think, 5-star if you bought every single offer and the strike pass, but we don't know. Well, actually, we do know, sorry, that was dumb of me to say, that he's going to be back available in the raid season milestones, but we don't know exactly how many shards we'll be getting, you know, for every raid season. We'll have to wait and see. At least I don't know that yet, although depending on when this video comes out, maybe that have already happened. But anyways, still a really strong character. To make matters worse, you know, he is kind of only available currently at this 2-star level free-to-play unlock prior to the raid season milestones from the strike pass. Although I would still argue he's still worth building even at the 2-star level because he is that strong. But typically for regular characters, I would say they would not be worth building at this 2-star level. So Silver Surfer does stand out above the crowd on this part alone. Not to mention he can dismantle Black Order arena teams through hybrid variations, and for any newer player who manages to get their hands on this character will definitely propel themselves greatly in any campaign he is usable in, which is quite a few Hero, Cosmic, and Mystic campaigns on top of other sections in the Do More as well. I think there's a Hero Mystic section there. All around an insane, crazy character with wide usability in every single game mode. Definitely gets the top S rank slot and probably the best character in the game if all things were even. So the next thing we have to talk about is Multiple Man. Now I'm going to zoom in here and you might have seen him already. He is here in the A tier, which is where I dumped him. So one of the more unique kits to come to the game in recent times, especially with the way that his clones are triggered when he gets hit himself. I think he's very cool. But does uniqueness qualify a high ranking in the tier list? Realistically, I haven't had the chance to test him myself in Dark Dimension 3 or 4 City. But given how the AI tends to target other characters and, you know, Greg's with Hela, for example, I think this might actually be very interesting. So without myself actually testing this to any large degree, I will give him an A ranking for this, and this might be subject to change for next time around. I think he stands out a little bit more and is a bit self-sufficient for newer players if you want to use him standalone outside of his team tag, though obviously best when used in conjunction with X Factor as a whole. So the final character of this patch that we have to talk about is Polaris. So we're going to scroll down a little bit. I found this one a little bit easier to rank for me. It is highly unfortunate that she is a Strike Pass release, and while Silver Surfer was too, he was seen as a premier character in that regard, and so I wasn't entirely surprised here. With Polaris being Strike Season 2, this does open the possibility that all Strike Pass characters might be new characters. I really hope not. Why does this matter about a tier list? Well, like I said, I do want to take into consideration that realistically, people are only going to get her 2-star free-to-play. So at this time, in particular, I don't think she's really all that viable, at least at the 2-star level. So that's my opinion there. But more generally, I don't think Polaris is someone that you're going to want to use a lot or really at all outside of her team. On top of that, she is a global character, which really separates her from her X Factor team for Dark Dimension, and there are much better global choices here than using Polaris standalone. Outside of War Offense, I don't see her being super amazing, so I have decided on the ranking of B for her, subject to change of course, but we'll see where she ends up, or if any crazy combos come out in the future with new characters or new ideas for her uses. And that's everything for this patch. I do think that we're going to be ending this patch very soon, with 5.3 around the corner, not too long from now. I do want to thank OCJ421 again for helping to design this infographic, and hopefully we can continue working together for next patch, and I hope this helped all of you as well to think of what characters you should invest in and what you maybe have missed out on. And if you need any personal tips at all, then feel free to contact me via Discord, as I'm always available here. But otherwise, thanks everyone for watching the video. If you found this informative, please smash that like button down below and consider subscribing if you haven't already. And of course, until next time, stay safe, and I'll see y'all later. Boilon signing out.